Hello, my gorgeous woman. Thank you so much for joining me for an episode of Lingerie and Lattes. Today, I first want to give you an introduction of who I am. If you don't know, I'm Olivia Tramaga. I founded Vulcan Ability back in April of 2020, so it's almost my 3-year anniversary of this movement to really guide women and men to find self-intimacy in order to connect to their partners from a solid foundation. So today I want to share about something a little bit deeper and perhaps darker into more of my Scorpio portion of my astrology chart. So it's around repulsion and actually feeling repulsion for the body and especially around the moon cycle. So I am most certain that I'm not the only woman that has felt this, but essentially all forms of intimacy and even the body and the self, the idea that I could experience pleasure was attached to a sense of repulsion. So we're in a world that claims to be very sensually liberated, but a lot of the times people are not experiencing real pleasure that's available in their bodies. And you have to ask yourself, what's the missing ingredient here? I want us to kind of start just taking a little break in the moment and just taking a deep breath in and doing a body check, going from the top of the head down to the neck, then down to the breasts, then following yourself down to the stomach, to the yoni area, to your thighs, your calves, ankles, feet. And as you're doing this body scan, noticing, is there any places where there's a sense of closeness and a sense of separateness? As we bring awareness to these areas that maybe we feel more disconnected to or disconnected from, we can start to recognize that we actually are repulsed, perhaps by the fluids that are a part of the intimate act. Or I know people that have experienced a lot of sharing that just being present to all of the sounds, the emotions, the unknown of intimacy, of physical intimacy, and that vulnerability is what makes it so difficult to relax. And when we are in such a state where we don't even know how to accept ourselves and the pure opportunity to experience pleasure, and we can't just relax in the experience, then we'll never be able to attain the sort of pleasure and the orgasm that we so desire. So what do we do with this repulsion is, I suppose, now the question that has really become a top of my mind, because there's been a lot of work that I've personally done around my moon cycle to just be okay with being a woman and being in a body that every month has an experience that maybe is unpleasant or just not the most comfortable. However, it is a time of great magic. It is a time of great introspection, and it's a time of shedding. And if we don't capitalize on that cycle within ourselves, then we can't really move in the world with our magic. Because if we are not able to access the internal shedding and the rebirth that's happening every month, if we can't tap into that, how are we going to tap in to the transformation and the rebirth we want in this physical space? This is not a usual area of my discussion. I typically more focus on the couples and on the self-pleasure and on the lightness of this subject. But if we don't address what's really underlying under all of that problems that show up, then we will never be able to resolve these issues. Recognizing that we have repulsion either around the act, either around ourselves, either around the idea of ourselves experiencing pleasure or just having intimacy, or repulsion of the partner. I've had that as well, not the partner specifically, but more of the a male body. Like honestly, it was so new, it was so strange, and I felt overwhelmed. So it was just kind of like, I don't even, where do we begin and how do we experience a positive emotion out of this when I feel so turned around, I would say. We have to remember that we are never taught any of these essentials about living a life as a woman, about having a partner that's a man, and actually making it work. All we have is comedies and dramas and all these contents about people breaking up, about cheating, about three people in a relationship, about et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it never gives us a roadmap to how we can actually build a solid relationship with a man on earth. And frankly, that boggles my mind because that is the most natural progression of an infant into existence is just becoming a human and falling in love and just having a relationship. Whether it goes up or down, that's up to you personally. But the act of having a relationship is the most natural human thing because we all have desires. And if we address those desires and act upon them, naturally the forces will connect and bring us somebody who matches us on that vibration and is able to supply us with what we have demanded from the universe. Whether that's good or bad is something to check internally with what you've asked from the universe. But this is the most natural progression of any human, is to fall in love, is to be in love, is to be in a partnership. So the fact that we don't have any sort of guidance on how to maneuver through that is exactly why I've built Vulcanability. And if you haven't checked out my Vulcanability library, I recommend that you do so. It's $25 a month. And every Saturday, there's a Serenity Saturday morning meditation that I upload. As you may have seen on my YouTube channel as well, I am hosting a Yoni Medi exercises every Monday at 7 a.m. so that we can wake up these beautiful places in our bodies, our womb, our yonis in between our legs, and strengthen them with intention exercise and to build neural pathways for pleasure. So please join me, and they will be available for a week, then uploaded back into the library. Thank you so much and have an absolutely magical Friday.